Well, good morning. Welcome to Morning Gospel Fuel with Mr. G. It's Friday, September 4th. September 4th, the feast day of Saint Rose of Viterbo. And she is the patron saint of people in exile, as well as people rejected by religious orders. Today's Gospel is from Luke chapter 5, verses 33 through 39. Let's begin in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. And they said to him, the disciples of John fast often and offer prayers, and the disciples of the Pharisees do the same. But yours eat and drink. Jesus answered them, Can you make the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come, and when the bridegroom is taken away from them, then they will fast in those days. And he also told them a parable. No one tears a piece from a new cloak to patch an old one. Otherwise, he will tear the new, and the piece from it will not match the old cloak. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the new wine will burst the skins, and it will be spilled, and the skins will be ruined. Rather, new wine must be poured into fresh wineskins. And no one who has been drinking old wine desires new, for he says the old is good. Okay, so we've got the question about fasting, which we've done before in Matthew's Gospel. I don't think it was too terribly long ago. Might have been during Lent. I don't remember, but everything blends in. So we got Luke's account of the question about fasting, and it's very similar in regard to the fact that Jesus' disciples aren't fasting right now because Jesus is literally with them. We fast as a constant reminder of of Jesus not being here. And just us trying to grow closer to him in his physical absence. So there's no need to fast for Jesus' disciples until after the passion of Christ, the passion and death of Jesus Christ. So that's what Jesus is trying to explain with his analogies of the cloak and the wineskins and everything else. And he's got a little ironic ending there at the end. Whenever he makes the comment of the old is good. Anyway, since we've talked about fasting, it's good to fast, that asceticism, just that, daily, dying to yourself to constantly remind you of Christ throughout your day, through your hunger pains and everything like that, to offer it up spiritually, of course. Otherwise, if you don't have intentions behind what you're doing and why you're doing it, fasting is pretty useless. So you got to have intent of growing closer to God. So anyway, with that being said, the challenge is going to come from which I have not done in a while, the Saints book on Saint Rose of Viterbo, because I liked it today. It was centered around the theme of speech. So I'll read this and bid you farewell to a good weekend. So, Saint Rose of Viterbo. Saint Rose of Viterbo must never have heard the saying, children should be seen but not heard. At age 12, she began publicly speaking out against the excommunicated Emperor Frederick, who had taken over her hometown of Viterbo. She was so insistent in her haranguing that she managed to get her whole family banished. When Frederick finally died, they returned and Rose tried to enter the convent of St. Mary of the Roses, but was turned down. Hence why she's the patron saint of people in exile and people rejected by religious orders. Anyway, she continued to live at home until her death at about age 17. It's a nice prime number, but that's young. If you have ever been around children for any length of time, you know kids say exactly what's on their minds. Although we as adults know sometimes a little tact is necessary, saying what we mean and meaning what we say is a good rule to adopt. When we are forthright in our speech, we are less likely to be misinterpreted. Of course, we never have license to be rude, but we can be honest. When we are asked for our opinion, we can give it. When we see a wrong, we can point it out. Conversely, when we encounter something positive, we have an equal obligation to extend our praise and gratitude. St. Rose was outraged when Frederick II tried to conquer the Papal States. Although she had a right, and perhaps even an obligation, to speak up, she was unwise to endanger her family. Her example is both an encouragement to point out injustices when we see them, and a warning to be careful how we do so. So we got to find that balance. Am I as honest in my speech as I am in my actions? The challenge is I say what I mean and I mean what I say. All right, there we go. Have a great weekend, and God bless. I mean it. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.